Shalom. Greetings. I greet you in the name of the Most High, Yahushua HaMashiach. On this day, I come before you just to bring a message to all those who will listen on this day. And my message is this, because a lot of people don't know how to come into a true covenant relationship with Yahushua HaMashiach. And the reason why that's so important is because there's not much time left. There is not much time left, and I am here to warn as many as who will listen. I'm here to warn those to try to call any and all who will listen to what thus says Yahuwah. And there are two things that we're supposed to do. There are two things that we are supposed to do in order to enter into a relationship with the Most High Yahushua HaMashiach. And those two things are, we are one, to accept the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. Now, most of you will proclaim that they are in relationship, but just off of that alone, just saying that they proclaim that the man in the flesh of Yahusha, but that is not the last step. There is more to it than that. And what we must come to realize is that, for one, we must bear the witness, proclaim the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. And then when we proclaim the message, then we are to press and to strive to be set apart from the rest of the nations, from the rest of this world, from evil, from sin. So a lot of people may say that they have proclaimed the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, but yet and still they do not line themselves up with what thus saith Yahuwah in his word. And I just come here today to warn those who are not. You might say you have proclaimed him, but if you proclaim him, then you will observe his Torah. You will keep his Torah to the best of your ability, not keeping it to obtain that relationship, because we never could keep it in order to make ourselves to be found worthy to be the children of Yahuwah. No one could except Yahusha. And that is the reason why that he came, he lived, and he died for us. We can't earn that. We can't keep commandments. We can't live up to the standard. We can't, that it's impossible. It was not meant for us to try to do that. That's why Yahusha came in the flesh and did it for us. But if we say that we accept him and that he died for us, then that should cause something within us to want to uphold what he died for and to fight for what he died for. And that's when he truly changes our heart and he truly circumcises our heart. So I'm going to read for us a little short passage, and I just want to kind of come on here and just leave this message with any and everybody who's willing to listen. And we are to do two things. We are to obey Torah, commands of Yahuwah, and hold to the testimony of Yahusha. We are guardians or watchmen guarding his Torah and his name. A choice. Listen to what I say. A choice between life and death. Yes, it's a choice between life and death. That's how serious this is. If you choose to do this, or if you choose not, if you choose to do this, you choose life. If you choose not to do this, you're choosing death. And it's a very, very serious matter. Very serious. I can't express and I can't stress it, and I can't emphasize it enough of how serious this is. But a choice between life and death, as it states in 1 John 5:11-13. And this is the witness that Elohim has given us everlasting life, and this life is in his Son. He who possesses the Son possesses life. He who does not possess the Son of Elohim does not possess life. Now that it's stated simply right there. I didn't write it. I did not write it, but it's simply stated right there in the text. I have written this to you who believe in the name of the Son of Elohim, so that you know that you possess everlasting life, and so that you believe in the name of the Son of Elohim. It is Yahusha that circumcises our hearts, as it states in Colossians, the 2nd chapter, 11-13. In him you were also circumcised with a circumcision not made with hands, in the putting off of the body of the sins of the flesh, by the circumcision of Mashiach, having been buried with him in immersion, in which you also were raised with him through the belief in the working of Elohim, who raised him from the dead. And you, being dead in your trespasses, this was all of us. This was all of us who were walking around not accepting the witness of his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, not being in him, not accepting him as our deliverer. All of us were walking around dead in our trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh. He has made alive together with him, having forgiven you all your trespasses. Who is he talking to? He's talking to those who accepted Yahusha as their deliverer, and also those who are living his Torah, walking in the Torah, are not walking in pagan religion, not walking by man's made up statutes that they keep, breaking the commandments that Yah gave us, not those. This is an act of immersion, and it represents circumcision, the outward sign or act of our belief, indicating the circumcision cutting of our heart. If we've received the Ruach HaKodesh, that is evidence that we belong to Yahusha. When he puts his spirit in us, when his spirit dwells in here, because his spirit will not dwell where there is lawlessness, where there is people that don't keep the commandments, that do not walk in Torah. His Ruach is not there. Now, I'm not going to say that I can 100% say that there are people who don't walk in the Torah that don't have his Ruach, because there are some, me included, who had his Ruach when I was in Christianity. I had his Ruach then, and he was so loving and so compassionate that he allowed his Ruach to dwell in me, because I was deceived. I was under the influence of the lives that men have passed down from generation to generation. And I believe there are some that are still in the pagan religions that may have his ruach. They may truly have his ruach, but he is calling you out. He is calling you out of the dead things. He is calling you out of man's ways. He is calling you out of Babylon, that you may walk in the life. If we have received his Ruach HaKodesh, then we are his, and he has circumcised our hearts with love for the truth, a love for his word. If you have been circumcised with a circumcision not made with hands, you're done. Nothing you can do can improve on what Yahusha has done. This is how we can obey from the heart. That's how we do it. That's how you look at us and say, how in the world, what in the world, there's no way they can keep those commandments. But we do it because we love him. We love him with our hearts, with our minds, with our soul, and with our strength. And that's how we do it, because we love him. So we don't want to break commandments. We don't want to live in lawlessness. We don't want to live in sin, because if you love him, then you will not want to sin. When we love him enough to obey him, he will write his Torah on our hearts. Those who will not obey him will not receive his Ruach. And it's in his word. I didn't say it. In his word, he says, he who turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. Where it says in Proverbs 28:9. So if you're not obeying him, then he does not give you his spirit. There are so many people who live in disobedience, but believe that they have his spirit. And it's a trick of the enemy, people. It's a trick of the enemy. Our lamp needs the oil that will never pass away. The Torah, which is our Yahuwah's instructions, the scriptures, is oil, also called living water. It is the mind of Yahuwah, his will for us. It is the mind of the Ruach of Yahusha, often simply called the Spirit. The Torah is inseparable from the Spirit of Yahusha. Torah is inseparable. It's inseparable from the Spirit of Yahusha. If you don't believe me, read John 1. Read John chapter 1. If you don't believe me that Torah is inseparable from the Spirit of Yahusha. And it is living and active, as it says in Hebrews 4. Our heart is our lamp, the component within each of us, often called our mind. Our heart is what needs the living words to be poured into them like lamp oil to our lamp. How many of y'all got lamp oil in y'all lamp? Or new wine for our new wineskin. Stephen called the Torah given at Sinai the living word. Most reject them because they are guided by false shepherds, ravening wolves, masquerading as messengers of light. And maybe some of you might just be misled by those who are been deceived. There are just people out here that really don't know the truth. They really don't know what they're talking about. And through their blindness and through their being misled, they are misleading others. I did it. I'm guilty. I misled many for years. But now Yahuwah has called me out of the darkness into his marvelous light, into his truth. And I must share the true Basara, the good news, the true good news. And the true good news is all can be engrafted into Yasharal, into Yasharal. You must be engrafted into Yasharal. That is the only way that the promises that are given in scripture will ever be applied to you. That's the only way. Listen to me, you who know righteousness, a people in whose heart is my Torah. Do not fear the reproach of men, nor be afraid of their revilings. Isaiah 51:7. I pray this rings in someone's heart today. I pray this message rings home to those who Yahuwah is still trying to reach. I pray it rings home to you on this day. Oh, I'm calling on Yahuwah that it touch someone's heart, that you might call someone, that someone will change direction, that someone will wake up, that someone will come out of her. Shalom.